After discovering myself and a little bit of my potential and my hard work in Little Angels High School, Gwalior, my work originally began as an academic exhumation of design with Srishti Institute of Art, Design and Technology in Bangalore. I was happy to experiment and indulge in product design, a little bit of animation, typography, illustration, with that whole amalgamation and hands-on working. I was happy to dabble in making things from scratch, sewing and wielding in the college workshop. Building things from scratch undoubtedly was therapeutic. I delved a little deeper into branding and social communication design, which essentially taught me the importance of storytelling and how to tell a story better. After all, we are the stories we tell, and the whys and hows of my story are interwoven with those of the people I have fortunately bumped into. Wandering across cities, I would observe people in their spaces, and try to translate those stories into illustrations. My wanderings introduced me to Thayyam, which is a cult ritual practiced wherein the gods walk on the streets with mortal men. Babuji Ka Phad that sings about local heroes. Kavar Katha that talks about mythological gods. And all these beautiful art forms and forms of storytelling will soon be forgotten as all things synthetic brew to a boil. Muhammad Farooq, Abdul Bakr, Abdul Wahab, they're all people from the Khatri community in Kutch whom I came across on one of my explorations. They're brothers not just by blood but also by skill. They practice Ajrak block printing, and they're the seventh generation practicing this in a workshop which is nearly 200 years old. It's important to understand why they do what they do. We were welcomed into the houses of Veera and Khajubai, who practice wood carving, and all these women in their house who practice beautiful Kutchi embroidery. We were invited into their house as a part of my research project for the India Craft project, for puri and aloo and a very healthy meal over conversations of why they do what they do still. Again, this is important because for a lot of people this is their livelihood. And in a highly industrialized and globalized environment where this is a fairly fragmented industry with challenges such as design, innovation, technology upgradation, and where technology seems to facilitate accessibility easily, we wonder if that's enough for entrepreneurial growth in the handicraft sector. The handicraft sector right now calls for a relationship-based approach rather than just a transaction-oriented approach. And this relationship-based approach should work not just with the prospective buyers, but also with the makers, the creators. And for this to be a long-term sustainable program, it is a must that this relationship-based approach be regulated with a systems design, creative growth, and sensitization, and how to tell the right story. The India Craft project in its initiative is at its first fledgling stage, where we're trying to identify aspirations and characters of craftsmen through their crafts. It's not very well known to most that craft, second to agriculture, is the biggest occupation in India right now. There has been an employment growth of 6 to 7% each year, which is less than 60 lakh in 2008 to more than 70 lakh in 2011 and 12. But it's also sad because we're losing 10% of these craftsmen every year. We have more than 200 crafts that are endangered at present in a country which has 7 million craftspersons, and that is known for its tradition, art and culture. India Craft Project's vision is to engage with these artisans, engage them with design thinking processes to understand and cultivate their own ideas and discover their designer self and not just their karigar self. With this extremely talented skill set that we have, how to materialize that into something that caters to a wider audience, caters to a wider market. The India Craft project wants to explore this through immersive engagement, understanding aspirations, and working on some trainings that involve design thinking and mentorship by experts from the industry. We would start with public flow forums, which starts next month, which is in May 2018. And this is only to encourage collaboration not only between the creative craft clusters but also the urban and rural design communities. And we can't wait to share this pitara of stories with you. Thank you.